Hey everyone, my name is Nakia from ThriveWithAmazon.com, and just in case you didn't know, I currently dropship on Amazon successfully, and I'm here to teach people who are looking to have their own business as well on Amazon. So the question today is, as a non-US resident, is it possible to dropship from Amazon legally while being in another country? The answer is yes. You currently can sell in over 100 countries. You can sell anywhere from Trinidad to Canada to Israel to Thailand, you name it, it's on the list. I currently live in Canada and I can confirm that you can successfully dropship on Amazon in the US market. When I tell people this, one of the first things people wonder about is then how do they pay their taxes? Like, how would it work if you're in a different country? People wonder, how would it work with making credit card purchases since it is in the US market? We're gonna knock out all the confusion and the wondering today. Concerning taxes. So I just want to put it out there, I'm not a licensed accountant or anything like that, but I'm able to give you some type of idea of how I currently do it. In Canada, we currently have something called a treaty, which just means that if you're working in that certain country, in another country, meaning that you're still situated in Canada, you are able to then not have to pay taxes in the country that your business is selling out of, and you'll be able to continue to pay taxes as normally in Canada. And most countries have a treaty, so usually I know Canada is part of the treaty program, and there's a lot of countries that have this treaty, so that's something that you would have to check on your own taxes country's website. Now for purchases, because one of the things that people struggle with is sometimes people have a hard time putting in their billing. So let's say if you're in Canada or you're in the UK and you're trying to sell in the US market, when you try to dropship with suppliers, you can't necessarily put that address where you reside in. So one way to solve this issue is getting a credit card that is in the US currency from your current country that you're in, if it's possible. Or you can develop a credit profile in the US. You can get a tax ID and build your US credit profile. And how this is usually done is you would apply the credit cards with that tax ID, which becomes your credit, you're basically like your SSN number, but it's really just a tax ID because you can't get a job or anything with it. But you do need to, sometimes banks in your current country might have deals where they'd be like, oh hey, you can get this US credit card and we'll build your US profile. So that's a good way to do it. You can look out for promotions. So sometimes I'll see certain credit cards will have promotions and they'll be like, hey, since I see you're Canadian, but you could apply for a US credit card in the US and we could build your credit profile from there and we'll use your Canadian profile. So there's so many ways, it's just a matter of research. So it's definitely out there, there's definitely a lot of possibilities on how you can go about this. Another question I get concerning around this topic is, okay, how do I place the orders? Because I have my US credit card in the US currency, or I have my Visa debit card. Now, how do I do it? So basically it's simple as, in order to place your orders, it is as simple as getting a billing that's in the US. So whether you use a friend, you use a virtual address, there's different ways on how you can do this. So you can be able to place orders and not have any trip ups. Another thing that you would definitely need is for Amazon payouts. So when the 2 weeks come up, usually Amazon every 2 weeks will pay you out based on the sales numbers that you got. So one of the things is you need a bank account. Now you can use your currency bank account where you currently reside at, meaning that whether in the UK, you can use a Euro account or Canadian account or any other currency, but you can even use a US bank account, which is highly suggested because sometimes when they convert for you, it ends up being more than if you were to just keep it in the same currency and then change it to over to your Canadian bank or UK bank, whatever country you're currently in. So one of the things is you can either create a US bank account or find out if your bank has bank accounts in the US, situated right in the US, there is a difference compared to if you open it in your current country. The difference is that one could do ACH and one wouldn't be able to. So in Canada, we don't have ACH here. We go by a completely different system as opposed to US. But the good thing about Amazon is they adapt. So you're able to put any type of account you want, but it is highly suggested to put a US account because it goes in US currency and it's better to change it on your own. Now, if you have the option to, you could even go to the US, and a lot of banks are very open to opening up accounts for people who are international. So if you can walk into a bank, usually they'll do it for you and you're able to open up a business account. So those are some ways that you can get started if you're a person that's international and you're not living in the US. And I completely understand that it can get very tricky once you're international and you're not living in the US, but I'm living proof that it's perfectly possible to do this even if you don't live in the US. There's so many ways around it and it's perfectly legal. There's nothing that is sketchy because I still do my taxes every year, and I'm just here to say it's completely possible. Once you get everything organized, your bank account, your credit cards, and you're basically set to go to start placing orders once you get orders in the US market. Now, if you have any questions or you're looking to learn more about Amazon dropshipping, head to thrivewithamazon.com.